Man, what is up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here, and welcome to the Underdog Talk podcast. I mean, we are thrilled to have Bilal Powell on the podcast as our special guest, star running back. I mean, a running back who just electrified the league, changed the game. I mean, we want to look at your life, big fella, talk football. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax. I mean, this is the Underdog Talk, and this is Bilal Powell. And how are you doing, man? And how's the family doing as well, big fella?
Man, everyone's well, man. We're diving into the sports with the kids, so we're very busy every day. AAU basketball, tumbling, football, all these different things going on, man, throughout the week. So we're just busy with sports, man.
And imagine you used to be busier when you were a football player running out every Sunday, Thursday, and oh yeah, the other day, Monday. But you retired from the NFL in 2020. Looking back on your career, what are some of your fondest memories, and what do you feel most proud of accomplishing in your stellar career as a New York Jet?
Man, just looking back on it, like I tell everyone who asks the question, you don't miss that grind. You don't miss the true grind. You miss the guys in the locker room. You miss the conversations, and you miss the barbecues and getting together after practice, and watching your brother go to war with you pretty much at practice. And to be honest with you, man, it doesn't seem like I retired 3 years ago. It goes so fast. And I'm excited for the next chapter of my life. And man, this draft was exciting for me as a New York Jet and getting Aaron Rodgers over. So I'm just excited to see football get going.
And you know what's funny? We had Connor McGovern on the podcast last week, and I pray that he's still going to be the starting center. I saw you guys drafted a nice little center in the second round, but I'm rooting for our guy to snap that ball to a Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. Now, you spent your entire NFL career with the New York Jets, and I think it's so rare these days for that kind of loyalty, or even for one player to stick with the team for the whole career. I mean, we even saw Brady leave. And what was it like playing in New York for your whole career? And how did you develop a sense of loyalty to the JETS organization?
Man, honestly, I'm that type of guy that they took their chances on me. You talking about a guy that came out in the draft. I didn't have an opportunity to perform at uh, the combine because of an injury. Then I also didn't have an opportunity to perform at my pro day because of an injury. So for a team to take me in the fourth round, and a guy that had arguably one good year in his college career, to take me in the fourth round, I saw that as like, wow, they really like what they see on film. And let's be honest, man, Rex Ryan, I think he can persuade anyone to come play for him. You had Rex Ryan, Anthony Lynn, Mike Tannenbaum over there. And those guys was just, they were excited to have me. And I always knew, hey, I always want to go to a big city. Being from a small town down in Florida, I wanted to go to a big city and play. I wanted to be put on the biggest platform. And what other city in this country to go play for? No other than New York City. And man, I just felt like since day one, I was a New York Jet, and my whole goal was to just retire a New York Jet.
Damn right you did that, sir. And I mean, the Big Apple is, well, shoot, it's like nothing else in the whole world. Now, this is the Underdog Talk podcast, all about everyone having that underdog moment. I mean, while you were drafted by the Jets, did you ever feel like there was a chip on your shoulder, or that you were an underdog kind of with everything to prove?
I think so. When you sit back as a player and you see these guys that go before you that get drafted and get drafted and they get drafted, and you hear all these headlines about these guys being pumped up, this guy being the next this, the guy being the next that, and you don't hear people discussing your name. I think you go in like, hey, at the end of the day, I have something to go prove. I have something to go prove, and I had to get over the celebrity, shell shock of LaDainian Tomlinson being in the room with me. I had to still understand that I have a job to do. And, being the underdog, you have nothing to lose. You have everything to prove. It allowed me to go out and just be who I am. And, whatever room I'm in, I'm gonna be me regardless, man. So everything that you see, you get from me. And I'm a hard worker. I don't speak much. I just go to work, man.
And that you do. I mean, you've been described by teammates as a quiet leader in the locker room. How did you develop your leadership style, and what advice would you give to young players who want to become leaders on their teams?
To me, I'm not a big speaker when it comes to hoorah. I speak when it's really time to speak. I I was raised to say, hey, your actions speak louder than your words. And there are so many different ways to lead. So I was never that hoorah guy. But to the young guy that's coming in, I would say, hey, show respect. Show respect to the people that came before you, because it's a privilege to play in this league. It is. They chose you. This is the first time coming out of anywhere that a team chose you. You didn't choose them. So that means they're investing time, money into you. Take advantage of it. It is a small fraternity. And if you can get in this thing and you understand the business side of it and you play for a long time, there are a lot of connections that you can have coming out, and all the resources that the NFL gives you. Take advantage of it. And I looking back on it, I talk to a couple teammates, old teammates, and we talk about, hey, I wish I would have, taken some advantage of the resources that the NFL gave us.
Mhm.
Instead of trying to catch it on the back end of my career, doing it on the front end of my career, and helping me transition for the game after football. This game will come to an end, to all the young guys out there. And being young, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to believe it. You think you're going to play for 20, 30 years. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Take advantage of all the resources that the NFL is giving you.
And you did, and I think you turned that underdog into a hungry dog. Because when I say 2016 against the Buffalo Bills, what comes to mind?
Division rival.
I
it,
was gonna
it,
say I was gonna
that
say breakout performance against the Buffalo Bills, but I like that too. You had a game with 163 rushing yards.
yeah.
I mean, what was going through your mind during the game and having such a dominant performance?
It's all about preparation leading up into that week, and understanding that the Buffalo Bills, they're a tough opponent.
Yeah.
They are a tough opponent in our division. And to me, I had to understand that it was my time. It was a prime time game. It was a prime time game, and it was a chance for me to showcase who I truly was. I can go all the way back to that conversation that I had with LaDainian Tomlinson when he was like, "Hey, at the end of the day, you only have a certain opportunity to go and showcase who you truly are. And when you do that, the NFL is going to label you. Do you want to be labeled a third down back? Do you want to be labeled just an early down back? Or do you want to be labeled an every down back?"
Right.
And I took that into consideration, and I took it and I ran with it. So that was a good opportunity. That game was a good opportunity for me to really showcase who I was. That I was a guy that didn't have to come off the field. And 163 yards later, I look up and I'm like, wow, like you you're not thinking about it. You're in this zone, and it's hard to describe this zone. You're just in a zone. You just black out, and you just go play football.
Yeah.
And all that hard work throughout the week, it shows throughout film the next day when you're looking like, wow, I saw that before it happened, because I remember studying that. I remember anticipating that. And you just get into this zone, and it's not one of those things where, hey, I'm thinking this, that during the game. You're not. You're just in this zone, and you just go. And 163 yards later, there it was.
And you balled out. Now, obviously, you had some stellar games, and obviously, that was my favorite one from your career, where I was like, "Damn, this dude can ball. This dude can play." And I think everyone, like you mentioned, national TV against a division rival, we're all watching. Now, to you, what was one other game besides this dominant performance that was your most proud moment of being a Jet in terms of the performance and just what it meant for you and the team?
I would say the overtime game versus San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Touchdown, scoring the game-winning touchdown in overtime. And I think that was a game because Matt Forte was the starter. He came in, I believe he got injured early on in the game. So I went in, and some of the reps that I didn't get, that's still in the play call. A lot of those reps I didn't get during the week. They were going to Matt Forte. So I had to prepare myself outside of the physical part. I had to get mental reps of the game. So when he went down and it was like, hey, 29, you're up, because this is the next man up league. Yeah. And it is a make or break, an opportunity that can change the rest of your life. And I was prepared. I was always taught, I had a great coach that when I came in, Anthony Lynn, that said, hey, be a student of the game. Don't just try to understand what you do. Try to understand what everyone else does, because it adds value to who you are as a player. So for me, I always prepared like that. Preseason, training camp, game week, I'm preparing for everything that can happen, because you only go in with a certain amount of guys. So when Matt Forte went in, I was like, here it is, here it goes. I know it's about to be a long game. I think I played almost 70 plays that game. And then you're talking about overtime. And I was just prepared. And one thing that I always tell young players that come after me is, do not let your preparation ruin your opportunity in this league, because you may only get one opportunity to showcase what you have, because this business is cutthroat and it's next man up. And if you can't do it, they're going to find someone else to do it. So I just took that into consideration. One of my biggest games, I think to this day, 2 touchdowns and just winning the game on a touchdown run, and handing the ball to a young fan that came all the way from New York. And he actually inboxed me, hey, you remember when you gave me the ball? That was just memorable for me. It was fun.
And oh man, that is insane. And obviously you are known for being a star on and off the field. You've been involved in a number of community service, initiatives through your career. What inspired you to give back to your community, and how do you think athletes can use their platform to make a positive impact in the world?
I think we just sit on such a big platform that when you talk, I think there are a group of people that listen. Yeah. And most of those people that listen are the youth, because they want to have someone to look up to. So whatever your cause is, whatever your personal life experience is, take that gift and give back, and surround yourself around great people that have different strengths than you. Everyone in your circle can't have the same strengths. The strengths for me is understanding what certain youth like to hear and what they like to do. But surround yourself around good people, right? And for me, just giving back to people, giving back, that's the best gift. That's the best present and gift that you can have in this life, is just giving back, man. Give it to people who can't give you anything.
And I mean, even alone just being on this podcast and the young people listening to your words of advice, on some of them might be chasing to be that next BP in the NFL, though no one will be like the next BP. Now, looking at the 2023 season, what do you think of the Jets roster? I mean, and how do you think they will perform?
I think bringing on Aaron Rodgers, that is something that this offense, this team has been missing for years. A true leader. You're talking about a 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. This is what the Jets have been missing. And I think when you talk about adding that with the talented skill players that they have, if everyone buys in, everyone gets on the same page, right? It could be scary for the AFC East. And I think the rest of the league, if these guys can get on the same page, because you only have a certain amount of time. Aaron came, he's now working out now. If they can get this thing going, and it might not be the first couple of games, it could be later on in the season. We always were taught, hey, playoff teams make the playoffs in November.
Ooh.
You make playoffs in November. Now it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. And I think the Jets, if they can get aligned with the talent that they have, they can get Brees Hall back healthy. It could be a scary, scary time for the AFC East. That defense was tremendous last year. And the only piece that they were missing was the most important part on the opposite side was the quarterback position. So I'm excited to see what these guys are going to put together this year.
And our guy, Connor McGovern's going to start and snap that ball to Aaron Rodgers now. I mean, that team, that from head to toe.
Hey,
I mean,
anyone can snap it to Aaron Rodgers, right?
Huh?
You can have anyone snap it to Aaron Rodgers, right?
That is unfortunately fair point, Connor. I'm sorry. I mean, anyone. I mean, when you got that man behind you, I mean, he'll make magic happen. Now, BP, it's been such an honor, privilege talking to you, man. Now, before we get you out of here, man, the floor is yours. What are you working on right now? Where can we find you? And I know you have a Cameo link too, which was quite interesting. But the floor is yours, big fella.
I mean, honestly, man, I've tried a couple things after I retired, and I think the truest thing that came back to me was just football. And I'm actually coaching my son, his 5th and 6th grade team. This is my 2nd year being a head coach, and we're pretty much doing this thing like a high school. We're running this thing like a high school program, and it's fun, man. Just teaching the young guys the game of football because they are the future of football. And looking back on it, I didn't have guys like myself who were able to coach the game of football. It was just pure talent. So now if you teach the game the right way and you add talent, this is going to be a pretty impressive, sport moving forward in the future. I think it's going to be, now you're having teams in the youth that are passing the ball. Guys are doing jet sweeps. They're doing motions. They're doing different type of defenses. I think that's what you want to see. And from a guy that loves the game, from a guy that played the game at the highest level, you want to see that there's still hope in this game. This is one of the greatest games to ever be played. It's the ultimate team sport. I think it helps you with things off the field as far as characteristics. And I'm just excited to be a part of that. And, I'm doing a couple things with the NFL Legends Committee with high school and youth sports, and also trying to dabble into some broadcasting.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just can't leave the game alone, man. I was trying to run from it for a few years, and you can't run from your calling, man. So we'll see how it shakes out.
I was going to make a joke about a running back running, but I couldn't even think of one. Guys, actually, first person to book BP on Cameo. Send me a screenshot. I'll get you someone special over there. I mean, if you want some motivational talk, if you want a happy birthday wish from the Jets legend, I mean, just go check it out. That link will be in the bio because your cameos were pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie with you. And I don't say that often. I think cameo's silly, but yours were actually pretty good. So I'll give you credit where it's due. I mean, guys, you see him one more time. Big number 29, repping the green on his back till the day he dies. I mean, Bilal, thank you so much for taking your time to come on the podcast, man. Guys, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this Underdog Talk podcast. And please go check out Bilal on his Instagram. I mean, because your commentating is damn good. You're giving yourself, you can give yourself some credit on that. You might be the next, I was going to say Tony Romo, but Tony does do X. You might be the next Joe Buck. You might be the next Joe Buck. No offense to Joe Buck. I want you to take his place. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. Until next time, Bilal Powell and the Underdog out.